Wenlang could not stop thinking about Gao Tu. Every empty space in his apartment felt heavier, every sound a reminder of what was missing. Gao Tu was gone, and with him, Wenlang's world had lost its color, its warmth, its rhythm. The quiet was unbearable, pressing down on him with a weight he could not escape. He had never realized before just how much he relied on Gao Tu's presence, on his gentle words, his quiet reassurance, his subtle ways of making the world feel softer. Now with Gao Tu gone, every moment was filled with regret, longing, and an aching emptiness that refused to be ignored. Wenlang replayed their last conversations over and over in his mind, searching desperately for the words, the tone, the subtle signals he might have missed. He remembered the tension, the misunderstandings, the silence that had grown between them. And then it hit him, the truth that he had been too blind to see. Gao Tu had left because of him. Because of something Wenlang had said, or perhaps not said. Because of the fear and doubt that Wenlang had allowed to fester. The realization stabbed him like a knife, sharp, unrelenting, and impossible to ignore. I drove him away, he whispered to himself, voice shaking, heart breaking. Every thought turned to longing. He imagined Gao Tu, alone somewhere, exhausted, struggling, perhaps even crying in secret. The thought was unbearable. Wenlang's heart ached with a desire to reach him, to hold him, to tell him that none of it mattered, that he loved him, that he had always loved him, that he would never let him go again. The world outside seemed distant and meaningless compared to the void left by Gao Tu's absence. Every breath, every heartbeat reminded him of the silence, the emptiness, the unbearable longing. He remembered the way Gao Tu had looked at him. The small gestures of care, the quiet devotion that had always been there but that Wenlang had taken for granted. And now, with Gao Tu gone, Wenlang felt the enormity of what he had lost. The regret was consuming, suffocating, and undeniable. He wished he could turn back time, undo every misunderstanding, erase every careless word, every moment of doubt. But time moved only forward, and all he could do was long, ache, and hope that Gao Tu would somehow forgive him. The nights were the hardest. Wenlang would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, imagining Gao Tu somewhere, perhaps resting, perhaps suffering. He wondered if Gao Tu missed him as much as he missed him. He wondered if he could ever explain himself, ever show the depth of his feelings, ever make things right. The thought that Gao Tu might never return, that the distance between them could become permanent, was almost unbearable. Every memory, every image, every small interaction replayed in his mind, a reminder of what he had taken for granted. Wenlang tried to distract himself with work, with errands, with meaningless tasks that filled the day but left the heart aching. Nothing helped. Each glance at his phone, each message left unsent, each memory triggered by a passing sound or scent, brought Gao Tu back into his mind with painful clarity. The longing was relentless, the regret overwhelming, and the desire to make things right grew stronger with every passing moment. He realized that love was not just a feeling but a force, unstoppable, consuming, demanding action. He remembered the subtle ways Gao Tu had expressed his love, even when words were not spoken. The way he adjusted something to make Wenlang comfortable. The small touches, the quiet care, the attention to details that Wenlang had overlooked for so long. And now, with Gao Tu gone, Wenlang saw them clearly, painfully, and understood the depth of his own feelings for the first time. I love him. I have always loved him, he whispered into the empty room, the words trembling on his lips, heavy with emotion and longing. Desperation gripped him. He could no longer wait. He had to find Gao Tu, had to tell him, had to make him understand that none of it mattered except the love he felt, the bond they shared, the life they could build together. Each step he took, each decision he made, was driven by that single desire, to bring Gao Tu back, to heal the rift, to bridge the distance that had grown between them. The thought of failing, of losing him forever, was unbearable. Wenlang imagined their reunion endlessly. He pictured Gao Tu's tired eyes, the faint smile that always softened his heart, The warmth of his presence, the gentle way he held himself, and the subtle ways he communicated care. He longed to see that smile again, to feel that presence beside him, to hear the whispered words that had always meant more than any grand gesture ever could. The image became a vision, a goal, a promise that he would chase no matter the cost. Time passed in a blur of longing and regret. Wenlang's days were filled with restless searching, with fleeting moments of hope, with endless imagining of Gao Tu's life without him. He feared the worst, feared that his inaction, his careless words, his silence had caused irreparable damage. And yet, hope flickered, stubborn and fragile, pushing him forward, urging him to act, to reach, to reclaim what had always been his heart. Even in moments of despair, Wenlang whispered his apology into the empty apartment, imagining Gao Tu hearing him across the distance. "I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me." The words were heavy with regret and longing, carrying the weight of months. Years of unspoken feelings and silent devotion. He imagined Gao Tu hearing them, understanding them, feeling the depth of his heart in every syllable. The more he thought, the more he realized that love was not just about presence, but about acknowledgement, about courage, about daring to reach across the silence and claim what was always meant to be. Gao Tu had left, yes, but that did not mean all was lost. Wenlang's love, once quiet and patient, had grown fierce, determined, unstoppable. He would find him, hold him, and never let go. He would make Gao Tu understand that his absence had only strengthened the bond, made the longing more unbearable, and revealed the depth of his feelings beyond doubt. Evening fell, and Wenlang sat by the window, staring at the city lights, imagining Gao Tu somewhere beneath the same sky. The thought that Gao Tu might be lonely, struggling, hurting, pushed him to act, to think, to plan. He could no longer afford hesitation, doubt, or fear. Love demanded action, and he would not fail. He would find him. He would speak the words that mattered most. "I love you. I'm sorry. Please come back to me." Each imagined step, each whispered word, each memory became fuel for his determination. Wenlang's heart beat faster, driven by the vision of reunion, by the hope that Gao Tu could feel the depth of his emotions even from afar, and by the certainty that love, no matter the trials, could conquer distance, fear, and regret. The thought of finally holding him again, of seeing his smile, of hearing his voice, of feeling his warmth became Wenlang's singular focus, his lifeline, his promise to himself and to the heart he could no longer bear to be without.